Hello, good evening, everybody. What's going on? Okay, there we go. My model was not loading in properly, but now it seems to be doing fine. So today we're going to be doing the Danganronpa's third class trial. We went through the pre-trial stuff on Tuesday, and we're going through the actual trial itself today. I'm definitely excited for it. I was definitely just excited upon finishing on Tuesday. It was kind of sad that it was late enough that I had to stop, but I am definitely ready to get this started. So I think I remember most of what was going on. I do remember that they were trying to red herring Hiro into it, although it's so obvious. Like, they're not even trying to hide the fact that it's a red herring. But also, I do think Celeste is involved, but is not the actual murderer. So I'm still not actually sure what is really happened, because it seems like they're strongly implying there was an accomplice, and it's possible that the person who planned it is not the one who actually carried it out. And Monokuma did confirm that it was the person who planned the thing is who we gotta be finding. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure of the entire picture. Let me first set the skills. Tentative. Let's see, so influence gauge by 2. Lost in thought increases the time limit. Okay. Steadies your aim a little. That'll actually be helpful, because I know sometimes the shakiness combined with the weird timing has thrown me off a little bit. Let's see, focus gauge recovers more quickly. I haven't been using the focus gauge, so that'll be the first to go if I have any more. But I can already get every skill I have with the SP I have, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Alright, let's just go over the truth bullets just so I can bring myself back up to speed on what has happened, because I may be forgetting stuff. The victims were Hifumi Yamada and Kiyotaka Ishimaru. The cause of death for each was a blow to the head. It is thought that they were both killed with a similar weapon. The tarp was found in the repository under Kiyotaka's lifeless body. It was apparently used to move Kiyotaka in order to avoid leaving any bloodstains. The dolly was found when the body was rediscovered in the repository. This specific dolly has no handles, and blood was found on one of its wheels. It's assumed that this is the same dolly that was in the equipment room where Kiyotaka's body was originally discovered. When they were first found in the nurse's office, Hifumi's glasses were covered in blood. However, when they were next seen in the repository, they were completely clean, and we did find the cleaning cloth in the garbage in the nurse's office. Hammers of all shapes and sizes were found in the repository. One of them was found wet and had apparently been recently washed. That was, I remember, Justice Hammer number 2. That's which one was washed. The door connecting the art room to the repository was designed to open only from the repository side. According to Aoi, it was locked during the search for the missing body. However, when the body was rediscovered, it had somehow been unlocked. A puddle of blood was found in the equipment room where Kiyotaka's body was initially found. A tire track had been left behind in the blood. The cloth was found in the trash can in the nurse's office. It is branded with a popular cartoon character and was found with blood on it, so it was probably Hifumi's cloth. We, of course, don't know if Hifumi was the one to wipe his glasses or not. One has to wonder if someone used it to wipe some blood away. Hifumi's body discovered when Celeste and Aoi left the nurse's office to use the bathroom. Apparently, they weren't gone for more than a minute or two. This is the note that Yasuhiro wrote to get everyone to meet in the dining hall. Meet in the dining hall is all it says. The note handwriting is remarkably neat and clear. And yeah, that was the big reason that it's kind of obvious that Hiro was not, at least not the sole primary culprit like it's been implied, because the blueprints in his room were not written with this type of handwriting. See, they put them right next to each other. You can see that's not the same handwriting at all. These are the blueprints for Robo-Justice, which were found in Yasuhiro's room. No one but Yasuhiro could possibly fit into the costume. In addition, anyone wearing it would not be able to see their feet or bend at the waist for more than 90 degrees. Okay, so they can't see their feet bend at the waist. That does actually... Oh, for the dolly and for carrying the bodies, that would make it impossible while you're wearing the Robo-Justice outfit. Apparently, Yasuhiro received a mysterious note last night. The note reads, "I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. Kiyotaka's wristwatch broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock. It was confirmed that as of late last night, the watch still worked, which meant it must have broken the following morning when he was attacked. Kiyotaka's lifeless hand was found clutching a small scrap of paper. Hifumi had this note hidden on him. On the edge of it one edge of it appears to be torn. The note reads, "I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m. Each student has their own e-handbook, which also acts as a card key. The owner's name is displayed each time the handbook is booted up. It's believed that no handbooks were involved in carrying out the murders this time." Okay. Let's do it. I love these trials. Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial, so your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with, we already know who did it. Was that? It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it. You killed them. I didn't. Someone knocked me out. I was asleep the whole time. I don't know anything about it. Shut your murdering mouth, murderer. I fucking love that. Genocide Jill has become a very enjoyable character. Like, she as silly as she is, she adds a lot of flavor to the overall dynamic, especially now that Hifumi is gone, because he was kind of filling that role beforehand. Who are you calling a murderer? I'm sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume you are used to build it. And all of it was found in your room. I have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime. How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know. Is Hiro really the killer? Or before anything else, we have to make that clear. So I wonder if they're gonna keep like adding extra stuff. Okay, so Robo Justice, Yasuhiro's message, and Robo Justice blueprints. Okay. Everything we found in your room, the blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit. I don't know anything about that stuff. It's not true, it's a conspiracy. Hiro, why? Why did you kill them? Okay, I think Yasuhiro's message is gonna be the thing, and I think the blueprints is the weak. Oh shit, that was it. My bad. I thought it was later than it was. Okay, I just gotta make sure, because I think the white noise comes from the bottom. There we go. Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints? What do you mean? Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote asking everyone to meet up if her alter ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints, there's no way you could think the same person made both of them. Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting. No, the differences are bigger than that, I think. Come on, I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway. So, Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit? And he's not the only one. I think Hiro is innocent as well. What? Then who was in that Robo Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit? The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was. And of course, he passes it off to you. So who was in the Robo Justice suit? Let's see. The suspicious individual question one must have been in the, No, it had to be Hiro. Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit. Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect. That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it. It makes perfect sense. Hiro was a suspicious individual in the suit, but he was not the culprit. So what you're saying is, that's right. The culprit in this case had nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit. Now that's a bold assumption. What reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes? Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way. Hey, stop trying to boss us around. All things have a proper order. So what is it? What needs to be clarified? We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body, that's the dolly. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items, dolly and the tar. Makoto, can you tell us what they were? Things that were used to move Taka's body. They must have been the dolly. There's still one more thing, and that's the tarp. They were a dolly and a tarp, right? What's with the attitude? So let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It's the same tarp that up until then was stored in the equipment room. I'm pretty sure actually they made a mistake in that it was still actually in both areas, but I think that was just an error in the creation of the game, not in actually the logic of the puzzle. So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it. Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly? Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was from the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly. In other words, we think they used dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you're not mistaken? Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it has made its way to the equipment room. It's not possible that it was in the repository all along and you simply didn't realize it. She's raised an objection. How do you respond? There's no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway. You all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you. Wow, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean. But maybe I can change her mind. If I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. Okay, new stuff. Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this next bullet time battle, we're going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen, underneath the tempo marker, you'll see your ammo count. Up until now, that hasn't really been a limit on how you destroy your opponent's statements. But from now on, just locking on and pressing the left mouse button won't be enough to handle them. Now it'll cost you 1 bullet to destroy a single remark. Once you run out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload by pressing the tab key. You have to press the tab key in time with the tempo marker. Basically, just remember the tab key now has a function along with the right mouse button and left mouse button. Okay. You'll automatically reload at the start of fever time, and your ammo will not decrease. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, you won't have to reload at all, which is not what we did. Okay. Good luck and have fun. Oh. Cat is being a little curious. Okay, 5 bullets. Let me just what was I completely forget the Fever Time is Space Team.
賛同できません。おバカさん。上等ですわ。惨めですわね。勘違いですわ。賛同できません。おバカさん。痛い人。嘘は通用しません。お行きなさい。惨めですわね。賛同できません。おバカさん。上等ですわ。
Okay. That was really rough. I'm
賛同できません。
absolutely sure the doll was in the equipment room with Taka's body. Yeah, that I did horribly on that, but whatever. If you're asking for proof the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly's wheel tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. Really? Because I feel like I did absolutely horribly. The only reason I didn't completely destroy that was because I went into the fever time during the negative time. I don't know how I did that, because I mean, I'm decent at rhythm games ish, but I find this one particularly hard. So I guess I'll take it then. And then as blood dried on the tire, they moved the body to the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body. Jeez, does Celeste really hate me that much? Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject. And yeah, I do feel like Celeste... Something with her is not as it seems. My suspicion is that what her involvement here, she's kind of trying to, you know, run kind of opposition. That was part of the deal she made when she was begging for her life. Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it, because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it? I'm not sure that really matters. I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit could possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it'll become immediately obvious. But look at how the body was moved, it's clear why this person in the suit can't have done it, because they can't bend at the waist. What does he mean by that? It's got to be the Robo-Justice costume. That's my guess. Okay. As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room, and from there the body was moved on to the repository, correct? Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp. Then loaded it onto the dolly. This is probably it, but I'm gonna do the whole thing. Now keep in mind, the dolly doesn't have a handle. Okay, that might be. Yeah, but even without a handle, all you have to do is bend over. Yeah, that's going to be the weak point, but I want to see the whole thing. Then you can push the dolly, no problem. The killer just crouched down and carted the body off to the repository. If you accept everything we just said, then you realize that must realize whoever was in the suit could possibly be the culprit. Sorry, I don't think I realized anything. So, okay, so I mean, I know which one I gotta do. Interesting, no white noise here. You're absolutely right that you could push the dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that? What do you mean? Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together, remember? I'm blind as a bat in here, can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you get anywhere in this thing. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight. When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that? Now that you mention it, yeah. It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over. Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet? When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way? I mean, yeah, you could. It's more loading it onto the dolly that's the tough part. Yeah, that'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself. On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in the tarp. Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body? You can't because it needs help because of the clasp at the back. There's absolutely no chance because you can't take it off by yourself. I don't think taking off the suit was an option, if you remember. I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help? Why would you make something you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make the stupid friggin' thing. There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting it off. It looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. We don't really have a choice. Let's help him. That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help. Then, you can't take it off by yourself. Hiro wasn't just making it up? Of course I wasn't making it up. If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect him. Yeah, that's right. So it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't remove the dolly? To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hiro in the robot suit, correct? No, wait just a second, please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? That is such... It's one of those things, it's such a funny picture, but I love that it's in like such a serious setting, so that like this scene is not meant to be funny at all, even though the picture is absolutely hilarious. You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now-deceased Hifumi said? How did you get hurt? That guy hit me. What guy? Robo Justice. Or, that's what I decided to call him just now. So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro, without a doubt. Yeah, that's gotta be right. Hold on a second. It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush into a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle. Perhaps, but where do we go from here? Let's review the series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new. What a pain in the ass. I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it. Plus, maybe we get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down. Alright then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 AM. As soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing. Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me. It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7. That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. Okay, I was just trying to see if I could actually see a clock anywhere, but I can't. As it turns out, it was Robo Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office... What's wrong? I saw a shadow, something moving around at the top of the stairs. Yeah, she's definitely involved, but I still don't think she's the killer, because kind of everything that's been happening has been happening just kind of at her word. Things have been happening because she says they happen. And then also she's kind of the main antagonist of this particular trial, just kind of arguing against you at every turn. And doing it in a way that's like uncharacteristically short-sighted of her. When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that, I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor and yelled out to everyone as soon as I did. Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared. And then... What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been... Hifumi, he's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back. At that point, we decided to divide up into two groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the third floor to let others know what happened. Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body. The one thing I'm curious about is because Taka was killed by Justice Hammer 4. However, his watch did say that it happened about an hour before Celeste supposedly got attacked by Justice Hammer 1. And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the three of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us, and she told us something very surprising. Hifumi's body has disappeared. We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right. Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again. This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something? But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for two missing dead bodies. And after some time, Celeste informed us she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository. Again, Celeste is at the center of everything this trial. I still don't think she killed him, but she is definitely involved. Which is where we rediscovered the corpses. I think that about covers it. I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events. Okay, well, if that's true, then what? Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka. The contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them no matter what. Okay. The broken wristwatch. It's probably the wristwatch. So regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after. You already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last. What makes you say that? Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers. It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from Justice Hammer 4. So it's obvious something happened, so it's gotta be the order, is gotta be the weak point that the wristwatch is. Oh wait, shit, is that it? Oh, fuck. Okay, so I think I just missed it. Oh, fuck. Okay, I just gotta make sure I get the white noise. Shit. Okay. Maybe it is the order. Okay, I'm gonna try with Fuck. Shit. I keep fucking that up. I gotta remember. At least I got a lot of time to do this. Nope, that's not it. Okay, it's got to be the order. Oh wait, no, I think the order's got to be the. It's got to be one of these. No, it's got to be the. Fuck! I'm so bad at the timing on this. Oh, okay. No. I think I also just missed it again. Okay. Because I know what the contradiction is, I just don't... I'm having trouble actually. No, okay, so it's gotta be the, Okay, so I think it's gotta be the, they're in all trials and I have no idea what's going on yet. Okay, so I think it's gotta be... I think it's gotta be that. Okay, that one didn't click as much as I thought it should. Like, it's not as obvious, like, that those two are the connected parts. Hold on, there's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions. So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order. But in reality, Taka was killed before Izumi? Okay then, let's see the proof. Evidence that proves Taka was killed, that's the wristwatch. Oh, Hangman's Gambit, okay. Let's see. Wristwatch. That one's much better than, much better than fucking Schizo from the second trial. Where is H? There you are. I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look, it broke with the hands playing just past 6 o'clock. Must have gotten broken. Yeah, easiest Hangman's Gambit ever. Seriously. Again. And that's following Trial 2's fucking one that was Schizo, which didn't even connect to anything. It's just kind of used Schizo as a catch-all for any kind of psychosis. It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer, because as of last night... Hey, how long are you gonna keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls. So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning. And that would be his official time of death. But if that's true, then he was killed well before he... And because Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7, that's right, Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place. The simple fact looked past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events all because of those justice hammers. That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increased in size. That way, when we saw how each was used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption. Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet. That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hikumi's death. That's right, with him at least, we're all safe. Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hikumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back. When we heard Hikumi together, we were all screaming. We were all together, except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body. That's totally true! We're all in the clear! Oh, I know, they must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on. If that's true, where's the tape? I don't know. Don't just go making stuff up. Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard people be screaming. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
可能な
And
の
it
は
does
山
not
田
stop
君の
there.
殺害
There
に
was
限っ
also
た
the
こと
moment
で
that
は
we
ありま
discovered
せん
that his body had disappeared.
保健室から
When his
山田
body
君の
vanished
死
from the
体
nurse's
私と
office,
朝比
Hina
奈
and
さ
I
ん
were
は
in the bathroom
一緒
together
に
while
トイレに
everyone
いま
else
した
was in the
し
equipment room, correct?
他の皆さんは物理準備室にいらしたのですよね
Oh, okay. I see that. That is... I appreciate the dedication in the YouTube chat there. Okay. Hina and I were in the bathroom together while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct?
それに物理準備室から石丸君の死体が消えた時のあの時
At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
私だけは
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time. Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then. Even if she could pull it off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body, because he's around 340 pounds. Because as we established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared. Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
つまり
In other words, it's impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or
その
moved
後の
either of
2
their
人の
bodies.
死体役に
On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things. So what now, Kyoko?
このまま誰がやった
For
か
now,
を
we
話
can't
し合っ
keep
て
get fixated on who did it,
話が堂
or
々
we'll
巡
just
り
keep
する
going
だけ
around
の
in
ようね
circles.
だから誰がじゃなく
So instead of who, I suppose we start talking about how.
特に
In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
そうなんだ
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't
いくら
figure out how to
調べても
explain his body
彼の死
disappearing.
体しかも
And according to what
剛さんも
Celeste said, we could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. So then the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time? It would seem so.
彼の死体はセレスさん
His
と朝
body
比奈さんが目を
apparently
離した
disappeared in the
ほんの
1
1
minute
分
her
程
and
度の間に消えたら
she
し
and
いけど
Hina took their eyes off of it.
でもそんな短い時間
But
で
to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time. Oh man, yeah. There's no way. It'd be impossible.
その不可能を可
But
能
what if I
にする
told you there
方
was a
法
way
があ
to
ると
make the
いう
impossible possible? What?
死
How?
体自身に
If the
移動
dead
しても
body
らえばいいんだ
were to move itself. Oh yeah, because he wasn't dead. That's right. That's a good point. He died only a little bit after he was found up in the repository. Dead body moved on its own. No, not another ghost. I don't think that's anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive. He was alive? Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
じゃあ
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead. Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
そんなこ
That
と
is impossible. The idea of Hifumi's still alive, is it really possible? Well, it's gonna be the glasses and the... That's gonna be the thing. Equipment room, bloodstain, and Celeste count. It's probably not any of those. Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi at the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
いいえ
No, that's
そんな
it's
はずあり
impossible.
ますあの時の山田
Even he
君
was
は
dead
間
without
違
a
いな
doubt.
くどうして断
And
言
how
で
did
き
you
る
know that
あなた
now?
の死体発
Surely
見
you've
アナ
heard
ウン
when
ス
a
を
body
聞いたで
discovery
しょ
announcement along with the rest of us.
あれは山田君の死体を
Hifuni's
発見
dead
したから
body
こ
had
そ
already been
流さ
found.
れたアナウンスの
And
は
that
ずで
is
すわ
why the announcement was made.
本当にそうかしら
Are we really sure about
別
that?
の誰かの死体
Maybe
に
the
対する
announcement
アナウンスだった
was intended to signal someone else's discovery. Okay. So,
最初に保健室で見つけた時の山田は
let's see.
生きていた可能性があると
He
い
was
う
actually
ことか
still
いい
alive.
えあの時の山田君どうして断言できあなたの死体発見アナウンスを聞いた時あれは山田君の死体を発見したからこそ流されたアナウンスのはずですわよ本当にそうかしら別の誰かの死体に対す
Yeah,
る
so
ア
it's
ナウン
intended
ス
to
だっ
signal
た
someone else's discovery. Okay.
最初に保健室で見つけた時の山田は生きていた可能性があるということか
I'm thinking. Oh, fuck.
そんなはずありあの時の山田どうして断言であなたも死体発見アナウンスを聞いたでしょあれは山田君の死体を発見したからこそ流されたアナウンスのはずですわよ本当にそうかしら別の誰かの死体に対するアナウンスだったのか
Oh, wait, so, let's see.
最初に保健室で見つけた時の山田生きていた可能性があるということか
いいえそんなはずありあの時の山田君どうして断言であなたも死体発見アナウンスを聞いたでしょあれは山田君の死体を発見したからこそ
Nope. Okay. Okay, I better not fuck it up again. So,
最初に保健室で見つけた時の山田は生きていた可能性があるということか
いいえ
Good chance I got it, because the fucking bullet time battle really...
本当にそうかしら。別の誰かの死体に対するアナウンスだけ。
No, that's not it. Fuck. Okay, I think I'm gonna need to restart. Yep, okay, failed. Okay, that's fine. If you hit the one with those... Oh, they... Okay, they voted for me just because I did... Okay. Yeah, let's give it another shot. Okay. So... It might be Celeste's account. I'm not sure what part of that.
最初に保健室で見つけた時の山田は生きていた可能性が。
いいえ。あの時の山田君はどうして断言できる？あなたの死体発見アナウンスを聞いた。あれは山田君の死体を発見したからこそ流されたアナウンスのはずですわね。本当にそうかしら。別の誰かの死体に対するアナウンスだ。
Nope, that wasn't it. Okay. So it's gotta be Celeste's account. I'm not sure what part of,
最初に保健室で見つけた生きていた可能性があるということか。
いいえ。あの時の山田君はどうして断言であなたの死体発見アナウンスを聞いた。あれは山田君の死体を発見したからこそ。
Nope, that wasn't it. Ah, this one's really fucked.
最初に保健室で見つけた時の生きていた可能性があるという。
Nope, okay. At this point, I'm just kind of running through the possibilities. A lot of times, it's like I see the issues and the contradictions, I just don't necessarily know. No, it wasn't that. Okay. What the fuck is this? Broken blood. Is it the equipment room bloodstain? Oh, okay. Maybe that's where the thing is. No! Fuck! Let's see, you need to take someone else's discovery from Kyoko and shoot it as... I didn't realize you could do that! I didn't realize you could loop back around the things. That is... Okay, that is one thing I think should have been made clear. Okay, thank you for that. I genuinely didn't know that was something you could do.
最初に保健室で見つけた時の山田は生きていた可能性があるという。いいえ。あの時の山田君どうして断言であなたの死体発見アナウンスをあれは山田君の死体を発見した。
Yeah, that's one thing I'm noticing a handful of times is that they have the story. They don't always do a good job of telling you what you can and can't do. Was the body announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi? Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body. Maybe, but that's also the same time that Taka's body was found. That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement. So there's a good chance we made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we're confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka. First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements. Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one. What did you say, Monokuma? Any comments? Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time. That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum. No, actually, that was plenty. He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. Oh yeah, so the second announcement happened in the repository. I remember that seeming a little off at the time, but now I kind of get it. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on? Unfortunately, Divine Sisters, yeah, he is, unfortunately. He was, I liked him a lot. Oh, later on, exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice. The second body discovery announcement. The first time it played was when we found each body in the nurse's office and the equipment room. The second time was when both bodies were rediscovered. We heard it a second time in the repository when we rediscovered the 2 bodies. Ding dong, ding dong. A body has been discovered. After a certain amount of time, which may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
あの時はアナ
It
ウン
didn't
スま
seem
で気
weird
が
at the
回らなか
time,
った
but
け
it
ど
contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't
この
it?
熊の
死体を最初に発見した時
Exactly.
だけ流れる
If
の
we
が
actually were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have placed.
やっ
Then
ぱ
in
り
reality,
僕らが二人
when
の
the
死体
two
を
dead
再
bodies
発
were
見した時
rediscovered, one of them was
実は
actually
初めて発
being
見された
discovered
状
for
態
the
だったん
first
だ
time.
つまり
So when we found Hifumi the
最初
first
に
time
保
in the
健室
nurse's
で発
office,
見
he
され
wasn't
た
actually
時の
dead
山田
yet.
は我らが本
I
当
mean, he
の意味
wasn't
で
actually
あいつの
found
死体
dead
を発
until
見
we
した
came
のは
upon him in the
美
repository.
術
だけどそれだけ
And
じゃ
that's
ないん
just
だ
part of it.
保健室の
There's
山
one
田
other
君
thing
が
that
生き
leads
てい
me
る
to
と考
believe he
え
was
られ
still
る根
alive
拠
in the nurse's
その
office.
根拠
Oh, I know.
私には
Because he was super good at playing dead. Bada bing, bada boom.
その程度の
That
こ
is
と
the
は
worst
根拠
logic
とは
I've
呼
ever
びま
heard.
せん。
Again,
やは
Celeste's
り
always
彼が生
the
きて
one
いた
kind of
根拠
running
なんて
interference.
存在すると
She's
は
up to
思いませんわ。
But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
だったら
Okay
もう
then, let's
一
take
度
another look at
山
the
田君
events
の死
surrounding
体
the
の状
discovery
況
of
に
his
ついて
body.
振り返ってみ
So,
ましょう。
if we're just ignoring the fact that he fucking talked in the repository, it's gotta be the glasses.
そうすれば
Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or
無
not.
駄だと
The
思い
whole
ます
thing is,
が
this whole thing is pointless. There has to be proof that shows he was still alive. And it's gonna be the glasses, or the cloth that was on the glasses. Yeah, it's gotta be Hifumi's glasses.
最初に山田の
Well,
死体
here's
を見
one
つけ
thing
たの
we
は
do know.
保健室だったよ
The
ね
first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office.
でも私とセレスちゃん
And
がトイ
then
レ
while
に行っ
me
てる
and
間に
Celeste were in the bathroom,
死体は消えちゃったん
his
だ
body
よ
disappeared.
そして
And the next
次
time we
にそ
saw
の
his
死体
body,
が発見されたのは美術
it
倉
was
庫
in the repository.
移動前の彼の死体と
But when you compare his
移動後
body
の
before
彼
being
の
moved
死
and after
体
being moved,
体勢が変わ
the
った以外
change,
に
something
特に
how
違いはあ
rather
り
than
ません
change,
でしたわ
there was no notable difference. This is gonna be
本
the
当に
weak
あ
one.
いつは生きていた
Then
の
was he really still alive?
ありえません
Of course not. It's impossible. This is ridiculous. Okay, so I know what this is.
最初に
So
山
much
田
easier
保
than
健
the
室だ
previous
ったよね
one.
でも私とセレス死体は消えちゃったんだよ
そして次にその下美術倉庫
移動前の彼の死体と移動後の彼体勢が変わった以外に特に違いはありませんでしたわ
I forgot there
本
was
当に
the...
あいつは生きていた
Okay, I forgot about the
バカ
fucking
バカしいですよ
white noise there.
最初に山田保健室だったよねでも私とセレス死体は消えちゃったんだよ
そして次に美術倉庫
移動前の彼の死体と体勢が
It's
変
not
わっ
just
た
one
以外
cross,
に
there's gonna be another.
特に違いはありませんでしたわ
There we
それ
go.
は違う
I'm digging this music.
保健室の山田
In
君と
fact, there was one clear
美術倉
difference
庫の
between
山田君
Hifumi in the nurse's office and the
そこが山
repository.
田君の
His
そ
glasses.
して
That fact alone
それ
proves
が
that he was
根拠に
only
なるはずなん
playing
だ
dead in the beginning.
詳しい話を
Perhaps you'd
聞か
like
せ
to
て
fill
も
the
らい
rest
ま
of
しょ
us
う
in?
か
最初に
When
保
we
健
found
室で
Hifumi in the nurse's
山田
office,
君の
his
死体を見
glasses
つけ
were
た
covered
時
with blood.
美術
But
倉
when we
庫
found
で
him
死体を
again
再
later in
発
the
見した時
repository,
山田君の
they
眼
were
鏡は
spotless.
しかも
And I found the item
Megan,
he used to wipe them
you
clean in the
freaked out
nurse's
the
office trash can. The evidence was the cloth.
これだ保健室のゴミ箱から見つかった
Hifumi.
の
Or
は
sometimes I
キャ
try
ラ
to
クターものの眼鏡
pronounce
して
things a little well because it's not like a hard sound like in English. It's more like Hifumi. Sometimes, also, I sometimes just like slur my words. That's a reality, especially after a long day at work. It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot.
ここに付着した血痕
One
を
look
見て
at the
もらえば
blood stain on the
わかるで
cloth
しょ
should make things clear.
山田君の眼鏡の
The
違
piece
い
of cloth was used to wipe
この眼鏡
Hifumi's
拭きで
glasses
使われ
clean.
たってことしかも
And the
この眼
mascot
鏡
of the
拭きの
cloth
キャラ
is
クタ
the
ーって
same one that is on
あ
the
のデジ
digital
カメと
camera,
同じだよ
right?
山田君が持ち
And
込んだ
whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
下道天使
The
持ち歩き
character
プリ
was
ンセス
Princess
の
Piggles
プ
from
リン
Demon
セス
Angel
文
Pretty
庫
Pudgy
だった
Princess,
よ
I
ね
think.
こんな眼鏡拭きを持ってたのって
I highly doubt anyone but
山田君以外
Hifumi
に
would
は
have
い
brought
ないと
something
思うん
like
だ
this
け
to
ど
school.
この中で
I see
眼
your
鏡を
point.
かけている
And
の
only
は
the people here who wear glass, and the only people here who wear glasses
俺は
are.
そんな安
I
物
wouldn't be
は使
caught
わん
dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
私の眼
A
鏡
few
拭きは
tissues is all I need to
十分
keep
よ
my glasses clean.
だとすると間違いない
And
よ
there's no question. It
この
belonged
眼
to
鏡拭き
Hifumi.
は
So you're saying is, what exactly?
つまり
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using
彼
his
の眼鏡
own
拭きで
glasses
使われ
cleaning
てた
cloth.
だからと と言って
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
でもさ
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses
その
owner?
メガネ
そうだね
That's a good point.
ってことは
Then it must have been him, right?
だとすると
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office.
そこで
He
死んだふりを
pretends to
し
be
ていた
dead,
彼
then when he's alone, he
メガネに
wipes
付
his
着し
glasses
た
clean
血
so
を
he can see.
自らの
Then he stands up and
保
walks
健
out
室
on
から
his
出
own
てい
2
ったんじゃない
feet.
どう
And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse, I like that, copious corpse, becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
でもさ
But then if he was just pretending to be dead,
じゃあ
what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
保健室の冷蔵庫
The
に
fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
きっと死んだ
He
ふりを
figured
す
if he
る
was
と
gonna
き
play dead, he should go
大
all
げさに
out.
血
So
を
he
ぶちま
just
け
dumped
す
it
ぎちゃったんじゃね
everywhere.
そうね
But he
後
got
でメガネ
crazy
を
with it
使
and
わ
had
ね
to
えん
wipe
だ
his
ったのよ
glasses off when he was
気
done.
抜いたらお
God,
まけ
what
さ
an
んね
idiot.
それに山
And
田
if
君が
Hifumi
生
was
きてい
still
た
alive at
と
that point, the
石丸君の死体
disappearance
消
of
失の
Taka's
件
body
の
is
説
easily
明が
explained.
誰が彼
It
の
should be
死体を
perfectly
運ん
obvious
だ
who must have moved Taka's corpse. Actually, yeah, it must have been Hifumi.
山田
It
君
could only have been
本当だよ
Hifumi.
俺たちが
While
保
we
健
were all
室に
gathered in
集
the
まってい
nurse's
る隙
office,
に
he went to the
物理
equipment
調
room
理
and
室
took
から
Taka's
石丸の
body.
死体を運び出したのか
Yeah, that is true. She does. Yeah, there is Toko and Genocide Jill, but I think they're treated as one and the same as far as this whole thing goes. Also, she was unconscious. While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body. That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
美術倉庫
The
の
door
鍵
was locked?
二人の死体が
Well,
消え
after
ちゃ
the
った
bodies
後
disappeared,
みん
we
な
all
で
went
死体
looking
の
for them,
その
right?
時
So me and
私たち
Sakura
は
headed for the
真っ先
repository.
に美術そうしたらね
But when we got there, the door was locked, and the repository door could only be locked from the inside.
つまり
Which means when
朝比奈
Hina
さん
and
たちが
Sakura
美
got
術
to
倉
the
庫に行った時
repository, someone was
その
already
中に
inside.
誰
それが
And it could only
石
have
丸
been
の死体
Hifumi
を
who
運
had
んだ
just
直
finished
後の山田
stashing
だったとい
Taka's
う
body
か
there.
彼が死んだふ
He
りを
convinced
する
us
こ
all
と
he
で
was dead, and when
み
he
んな
saw
を
his chance, he
欺き
dragged Taka's
その
body
隙
to the
につ
repository.
まり
So
山田
Hifumi
君は
wasn't
単なる
just
被
another
害者じゃ
victim
ん
in this case, he was one of the
加害者として事
assailants.
件を
Okay,
関
so
与していたの
Hifumi is the accomplice.
The-
But that means he took part in the murders. I just can't believe it.
信じられ
If
な
you're
い
having
な
trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence? There's more? Oh, absolutely.
山田君が
The
事件
single
に関与
biggest
してい
fact
た
pointing to his involvement has yet to be
大
revealed.
輝君は分かってい
You
る
know
わ
what
よ
I'm talking
ね
about, Makoto. The
彼が
item he
被
took
害
off
者
from
の石
Taka's
丸君
lifeless
から奪
body.
った
Oh, it's the paper. No, it's
これだギリギリさんも言ってるの
You're talking about the note Hifumi
山田
had
君
hidden
が隠
away,
し持って
aren't
た
you? A hidden note?
死んだ山
That's
田
right.
君
He
は
found it stuffed in his
パンツの
pants.
あいつの
What? In his
パンツに
pants? Of course she would. I still am angry at myself for not realizing that she's a Fujoshi. Yes, his pants.
パンツは置いとい
Okay,
て
well
さ
forget about the pants for now.
Memo
Take a look at what the note
見てくれるかな
says. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m. Ah, that's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
そうなんだ
I see.
このメモ
Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got. It's not the same?
つまり
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person
犯
besides
人に
Hiro.
呼び出さ犯人に呼び出さ
And
れ
that
たもう一
person
人の
could only have been...
おそらくその人物はこれだ
That's right,
石丸君だ
Taka.
よこのメモで
The
犯
killer
人に
used
呼び
this
出され
note
た
to
の
draw out Taka and
殺され
murder
た
him.
石
Hello, over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? Well, he's gonna have the scrap in Taka's hand.
だからその
So
メモで
whoever
呼び
wrote
出
it
され
wasn't
たの
drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy.
だろうがよ
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
誰目だろうが
Yes! Why must you ruin it every time? Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still, I can't let her get to me. Last thing, glasses, wristwatch, blue tarp, glasses, and hammer.
そのメモはヒフミンが持
Huffy
ってた
had
ん
the
でしょ
note, right?
じゃあそのメモで呼
So
び
the
出され
person
たのも
it was intended for
当然ヒフミンだ
must
ろうが
have
よ
been Huffy.
そのメモ
But
の
we
内
remember
容を
what the
よく
note
思い
said.
出したメモにあった
What
集
time
合
did it say
時
to meet?
早朝6
6 a.m. I believe.
何時
The
に
time
呼び
doesn't
出され
matter.
てそんなに9巻とは関
The
係
note
ね
has
えだろ
nothing
うが
to do with TikTok.
そのメモはひふみんが持ってたんでしょ。じゃあそのメモで呼び出されたの
Oh,
も
it's got oh, the broken
なん
response.
で
Okay.
ひふみんだろうがや。
そのメモの内容をよく思いメモにあったし
早朝6時
何時によそんなん9番とは関係ねえだろ。
There we go.
それは違う。いや、関係あるはずだよ。
No, there absolutely is a connection.
ああ、何
What
を
the
抜
hell
か
are
す
you
とこ
talking about?
このメモ
The
の
note
呼び
said
出
to
し
meet
時
at
間は早
6
朝
a.m.,
6
which is
時
the same time Taka was
それで
murdered.
この腕時計
We've
が
already
示して
proven
い
that
る
using
通
his
り
wristwatch.
それだけじゃない
But
よ
there's more. Look
こ
where
の
the
メ
note
モの
says to meet.
物理準
The
備室に
equipment
集
room,
合って
right?
そう
Which is where Taka was killed.
石丸
I
の
see.
つまり石
So
丸君
Taka
は
was murdered at both the
このメ
time
モで
and
指定され
place
た時
written
間
in the
帯
note.
これって
I
十
think
分
that
な
should
根
be
拠って
plenty
言え
to
るん
show
じゃ
that
ない
this note was definitely meant for
このメモ
Taka.
で
なるほど、そういうことね。
Well, when you put it like that, no further objections.
じゃあ
Then
石
someone
丸
used
ち
that
は
note to trick Taka
俺
just
と
the
同
same as
じように
me. Ugh, the culprit really is a cold-blooded
極悪非道
monster,
で血も
telling
涙
people
も
they
ない
found a
冷血
way
無
out.
でもさ、
But
ど
if
うし
they
て
gave the
山
note
田
to
は
Taka,
石丸に
what
渡
was
されたメ
Hifumi
モなん
doing
か持っ
with
て
it? Stuffed down his pants, no less.
それは
Most likely, Hifumi
きっと
stole it
山
off
田
of
君が
Taka's corpse
死ん
after
だ
he
石丸
died.
君
Huh? He stole it.
その根拠は
Where's
何
your
だ
proof? Go ahead, show us. And that's gonna be the scrap in Taka's hand.
これだ死んだ石
When I
丸君の手
searched
に
Taka's body, I saw that his
小さな
lifeless
紙
hand was
切れが
gripping a
握ら
small
れ
scrap of
僕の
paper.
考えに間違い
If
が
I'm
ない
right
な
about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is...
思った通
I
り
knew
だ
it. If it's
山田
perfectly
君
with
が
the
隠
note
し
we
持っ
found
てたメ
hidden
モ
on
と
Hifumi.
一致したよ
じゃあ
Then
石丸が
Taka's
握
scrap
って
and
た小
Hifumi's
さな
note.
紙
Yep, they're from the same piece of
元は
paper.
同じ
石丸君に
Hifumi
渡
had
さ
the
れた
note
は
meant
ず
for
のメモ
Taka, while
山田
Taka's
君が
corpse
持って
still grasped a small
そ
piece
の
of that
石
note.
丸君この状況に
There's
説
only
明
one
を
way
つ
to
けられ
explain
る
it.
石丸は
Taka
メモを
died
握り
clutching
しめ
the
た
note.
まし
Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one
破
small
れた紙
scrap.
そういう
Did I get all that right?
だとすると
That means
山田
Hifumi
はそ
knew the
のメ
note
モ
was
が重要
important. Exactly.
それが根
Which
拠に
proves
な
that he
る
was an accomplice to in the
山
murder.
田
Whoa.
これだけの
Yeah,
材
after
料が
seeing
揃
all
え
this,
ば間違いない
Hifumi
べ
was super involved in this whole
山田っ
thing
ちは
for sure.
という
In
か
fact,
犯人は
he was
山
behind
田
the
っち
whole
だべ
thing. In fact, he's still alive.
いやそれはない
Sorry, no.
美術倉
When
庫
we
に
found
見つ
him
け
in
た
the
山田君
repository,
は
Hifumi was truly and completely dead. Well, after he spoke. But
この
then,
時流れた2回
the
目の
second
死体
body
発見アナウ
discovery
ンス
announcement
が
proves that.
じゃあ
So then, who killed Hifumi?
真犯人と
Whoever
い
did
う
it
と
is
こ
the
ろか
mastermind, the true killer.
殺害現場
Now that knowing that what's happened with Hifumi, now I actually do think it's Celeste. He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
ではあいつは
So he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in
二
the
人の死体
repository.
がさ
その間
During that
俺
time,
たちは
we'd all
手分けして
split up
消
and
え
were
た死体
searching
の
for
捜索
Taka's
をしてい
missing
るつ
body.
まり
In other words,
俺た
during
ち
that
全
time,
員のアリバイ
none
が
of
な
us
い
have
時間帯
alibis.
だ
Yeah, he was alive for a little bit because they found him. Hina was crying over him. He kind of woke up and said Yasuhiro and then died.
でも
Wait, but me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus. Who are you calling a walrus?
つうか
Anyway,
殺された
when they
時
were
間帯もそうだけど
killed bothers me
もっと気に
too.
なること
There's
があん
something
べ
that's been bothering me even
も
more.
っと気になる
And
こ
what might
と
that be?
山田っち
The
は
weapon they used to kill
どんな凶
Hifumi.
狂
The
気
weapon.
だってよ
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file,
石丸っちと
the way
山田っ
Taka
ち
and
は
Hifumi
同
were
じよう
killed
な
is
凶器で
almost the
同じよう
same,
に
with them
頭を
having
かち
similar
割られて
fractures
た
and
らしい
all.
けど
Okay, so Hifumi must have been killed with Justice Hammer 2, which was then washed and put back onto the rack.
でもよ
But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and the equipment room, right? Or maybe the washed one wasn't Justice Hammer 2. Maybe that's just they might have just forgotten to put the hammer back into the library, and it might just be a completely different hammer altogether. Better is Biggie to call Monokuma. Oh, that would piss him off for sure. You're not wrong about that. I mean, seeing as how angry he got by being called a teddy bear, I'm sure calling him a walrus would really make him flip out.
山田っちが
So
美術
Hifumi
倉庫
was
で
killed
殺
in
さ
the
れたってことは
repository.
犯人
The
は
culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it.
でもよ
But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
こいつは
I'm
驚いた
surprised.
な
It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all. Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight. He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms, so the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue. So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2? Those were accounted for in the other rooms too. Okay, so I guess it was just that when they were making the game, they forgot to add Justice Hammer 2 back into the library when I checked it. Those were accounted for in other rooms too, and I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone. Depends. I think Justice Hammer 2 could have killed somebody. Is it not possible they used a different weapon? I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right? So then what was used to kill Hifumi? The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi? Somehow I have to find the truth. Okay, so I guess it's another open debate. Okay, so it's gonna be the Broken Workshop it's Spotless Hammer. Yep, that's it. Now let's see where I can find the what's the weak? What was used to kill Hifumi?
Justice Hammer.
Was it the Justice Hammer? Oh, Justice Hammer 3. Maybe Justice Hammer 4. Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it? Sounds like Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance. Check out murdergear.com/hammer time for info. One thing is pretty clear. Murder had to be one of the Justice Hammers. Nope. And that's about it. Okay, so I know which weak point is the one, and I didn't see any white noise either. Actually, I don't think there's any white noise at all in this one. The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No, it was something completely different. But seriously, a different weapon? Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean. Huh? And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers, big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as the basis for their design. If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar. So Hifumi moved the Taka body to the repository where someone then used a hammer to kill him. And whoever did that was the true killer, the one Hifumi was working with, and the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I feel like it's strange to assume that someone was working together with them. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not? We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. The question I have is, if you're an accomplice to a murder, you're not blackened, so you don't get to graduate. But, like, do you still get punished if the killer gets away? At least that's what we thought at first, but... Okay. Make your argument. Okay, what's that? Wristwatch, tarp, and hammer. Okay. I don't think any of those. I'm probably gonna have to grab something from somebody. Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it's simply impossible two people work together on this. That is how the rule was explained to us. That only applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders. Okay. It might be... So I think two murders has to go back around and break impossible. Oops, shit. No, fuck, I missed it. That was dumb of me. Okay.
ここでもルール共犯したところで殺しを実行した一人だけにすると
I'll be happy when I get that next white noise achievement, so I don't have to
それ
keep
は事件の一
grabbing.
つだ。今回起きた事件の二つだったの。ここでのルールで共犯したところで殺しを実行した一人だけのはず。
Okay. I can't remember if there
とす
was
ると共犯者の可能性はありません。
Yep, okay. Well, I'm glad I know now that you can kind of loop back on the new truth bullets, the
今回2
flashback
つの事
bullets.
件が起きてたんだ。
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
どういう意
What
味
do
だ
you mean?
共犯者の
If there'd
存
only
在
been
が
one
考
murder,
えられ
then
ない
yes, the idea of an
起
accomplice
きた
isn't
事
really
件の
worth
一つだ。
considering.
当然よね。
Naturally, if only one person can be
一つの
saved
事件
per
で
murder, an accomplice has no risk versus
共
reward
犯したと
benefit.
近隣
Risk
作
versus
業
reward benefit?
その仕
The
事で
payoff for
釣り合
working
う
together, the reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the
共犯
scheme.
殺人を手伝っても
There's
助
no
からな
point
い
in being someone's accomplice if
共
there's no
犯する意
benefit.
味なでも
However, if there
逆にその
were some
現実
potential
さえ
mutual
成立
reward
す
for
れ
the
ば
risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
2人の犯
You're
人
saying
が
that two
2つの
people could
殺
act as
人
each
を
other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
真犯人は
I think that's
そ
what
の
the
計
true
画を
killer told
山田君に
Hifumi.
持ちかけ
They
て
would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering
山田君だ
Taka.
先に
They
彼
made
に
him
殺
carry out
人
the
を
first
犯
murder
さ
so that he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
つまり
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents.
それが一連の連
And
続
it
殺
only
人に
looked
見え
like
た
one
のは
person because that's how the
全て
true
犯人
killer
の偽装
designed
工
it
作
to
に
look.
顔を隠した
A
不審
single
者
suspicious individual, a similar weapon used for each crime, disappearing bodies.
一連の犯
By
行が
creating
同
one
一犯によ
seamless
って
set
行
of
われていると
circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
犯人は
The
その計画
mastermind
を
picked
共
their
犯者
target
に
and
持ち
managed
か
to
け
convince him to go along with their plan. Also, let's not forget that Celeste had been bullying and bossing Hifumi around beforehand, so it's already shown that she's able to get him to do whatever she wants.
最後に
And
そ
then
の
to
共
avoid
犯
the
者
no
を殺すこ
accomplices
とで
rule, they simply
一番の懸
killed
念
their
材料をも
accomplice.
消し離れた
Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning. That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel? So yeah, now I think it is
なかな
Celeste.
かよく
I
で
knew
きた
she,
計
I
画
knew
じゃ
she
ない
was
か
involved. I didn't realize that
共
Hifumi was
犯者
working
の
with
人
her.
選は別だがな
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd. The effort made to convince us the two murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. What did I do left? Just kill you already. Yeah, honestly, Hifumi was so outrageously cucked that he absolutely, yeah. Kyoko must have noticed that back from the very beginning. Which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Oh, and also, I realized that Hifumi would have had a little bit of motivation to kill Taka because of the whole thing with Alter Ego. When you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this. I think she's the ultimate detective, that's why.
共犯者の存在が
I
成り立
understand
つ
how
こ
an
とは
accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
それが問題だな
That's problem numero uno right now. The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions and in the end, murdered him. In the debates up to now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. It's Celeste.
これが僕の答えだセレス
It was Celeste. Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of
そ
joke.
ん
冗談
A joke.
それはどうかな
Yeah, I mean, I will say, Taka didn't really grow on me the way a lot of the other characters had. So, like, I get why people like him. Like, I can see the appeal. I don't know, he just bugged me from really early on. And as soon as he started to kind of get a little bit interesting, and granted, I only spent one period of free time with him, so maybe it would have gotten a little bit more if I'd spent more time with him. But he didn't start to get, like, interesting at all until right before he died.
では
So what you're saying then
私
is
と
that
山
I
田君が組ん
specifically
でい
chose
た
to
と
work together with
おし
Hifumi.
そんな
The idea that I would choose
私
to
と
spend
山田
any
君
amount
が
of time
組んでいた
interacting
なん
with
て
him,
そんなことあるわけねえ
that
だ
I
ろ
would go within 10
そこ
feet of
が
that shit for brains.
誰
That
があんな
lazy,
下手な
worthless
と
goddamn
組むっつん
idiot.
だ
失礼しました
Pardon
わ
moi. I don't know how to pronounce. Pardon moi. something
言
like
っておく
that.
が根拠もあ
Clear,
るぞ
there is evidence to support it. Is that
そう
so?
だ
It is.
今
Throughout
回
the
の一連の事件
investigation,
に
there
お
was
いて
certain behavior that
お
was
前
common
らだ
only
けは
to the
共
two of
通
them.
それが根拠にな
Considering
る
what
ん
we've
だよ
learned so far, it
お
only
前らが
further
組んでい
proves
た
the
こ
two
と
of
の
you were
な
working together. What is it the only they had in common? Encountering the suspicious individual.
山田君
The
と
behavior
セ
that
レ
had
ス
in
だけ
common
が
has to
共
do with the
通して
suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it?
例の不審者
The only ones to ever actually, who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were
セレス
Celeste
さん
and
と山田
Hifumi.
君でしゃばるな
Shush, the adults are talking now. Sorry.
苗木の言う通
As he
り
said, only
例
Celeste
の
and
不審者
Hifumi
を
ever
目
laid
撃し
eyes
てい
on
る
the
のは
costumed
山
individual.
田とその山田
If
が
we
犯
accept
人
that
の一
Hifumi
人で
was
あ
one
れ
of the
ば
culprits, we can't
も
help
う
but
一方のセレスの
suspect
証
what
言も
Celeste
怪
has
しい
said
と
as
見る
well.
全て
Are you
嘘
saying everything they told us was a lie?
図書室で
After
怪我を
taking
した
Hifumi
山田
to
を
the
保健
nurse's
室に
office,
連
we
れて
all
行っ
began
た
our
後
search for this individual,
俺たちは
correct?
その直後
And
の
not too
セ
long
レス
after
の
that,
言
do
葉
you
を思
remember
い出
what
してみろ
Celeste said? I saw a shadow, something moving around to the top of the stairs.
あの
We
証
headed
言
to the
があっ
second
たか
floor
らこそ
specifically
俺
because
た
of
ち
what
は
she
2階
claimed
へ
to
と
have
移動
seen.
しそこでセレスは
Next, to
俺
draw
たちを
us
3
all
階
to
の
the
物
physics
質へ
lab
と
up on
誘
the
導
third
する
floor.
3階で
She
悲
let out a
鳴を上げ
blood-curdling scream. Danganronpa likes to give people character development right before they die. That is a good point. I have noticed that with that happened with Sayaka and Chihiro. I don't think there was all that much with. There was a little bit with Leon, not a whole lot. And then Mondo also did kind of have his character development right then too. So yeah, that's a good point. But I also know that there's the stuff that's gonna happen. I do know about the game mode that gets unlocked after you get through the main story. So there's probably gonna be a lot of extra like supplemental stuff in there. She let out a blood-curdling scream.
あの時悲鳴を聞き
And
つ
when
け
we'd
て
all
3
come
階
to
に
see
集まっ
what
た
was
俺たち
wrong,
に
what was it she said? Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down the hallway and disappeared.
そうやって俺たちを
Once
物
she'd
理
done her
室に
job
向
of
かう
getting
よう
us all
仕
up
向
to
け
the
た
physics
もう
lab,
一人
it
の
was
相
time
方
for
の
her
出番
partner
だ
to get to work. Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
あれは
It was to get us to
私
divide
た
into
ちを
two
二手に分かれ
groups
させ
that
て
we would discover both bodies at the same time.
現に
In
二手に
fact,
分かれよう
Celeste
と
was
提案したの
precisely the one
も
who
セレス
proposed
だっ
that
た
we
はず
split
だ
up. Then why don't we split into two groups? I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well, then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
どうだ
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become
全
connected.
て付け加えて言えば
And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on,
ゴキャ
あれに
that
は
was to signal Hifumi,
山田へ
wasn't
の
it?
愛自分は
It
予
was
定
your
通
way
り
of telling
3階
him
まで
we're
た
on
ど
the
り着い
third
た
floor.
悲
Everything's
鳴
going
を上げ
according
よ
to
う
plan.
だからこそ
Why
あん
else
な
would you
校
let out a
内全
scream that
体
could
に
have
響き
carried
渡る
across
よう
the
な
sea?
それに
I just realized another strange
保
thing.
健室で
When we found
死んだ
Hifumi
ふ
in the
りをして
nurse's
た山
office,
田
who we
君を
now
発
know
見した
was
時
only pretending to be dead. I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
あの時最初
Celeste,
に殺され
you
た
were
と
the
言ったの
first
は
one to say he'd been
セレ
murdered.
そうやっていう
You
こと
wanted
で
to make sure we wouldn't have
山
any
田君
doubt
は
in our
死んだ
minds. I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
朝比奈さんは
Hina, you were with
山田君の
Celeste
死
when
体が消
Hifumu's
えた
body
時
disappeared,
セレ
right?
ス
Yeah,
私
I
の
was
気分
feeling
が
kinda
悪かっ
sick,
たか
so
ら
Celeste took
セ
me
レ
to the
スちゃん
bathroom. Wait, then that was...
朝比奈さん
She
を気
wasn't
遣ったわ
worried
けじゃ
about
な
you.
くて
She just saw a chance to help
山田君
Hifumi
を保
sneak
健
out of
室
the
から逃
nurse's
がす隙
office.
をどれもこれも
Each
一
piece
つず
isn't
つで
much
は
by
小さな
itself,
こと
but
だ
start
な
putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
そう思わないか
Don't you agree, Celeste?
さ
I have
何
no
のこ
idea
と
what
で
you
しょう
mean.
とぼけても無駄だ
Celeste was another fun character. I liked her a lot. Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal
ミ
mistake.
ス
Oh, did I?
最初にあ
I
れを
didn't
聞
even
いた
catch
時
it
は
myself
さ
when you
ほど
first said
深
it,
刻には
but
今となって
looking
は
back,
は
I
っ
can
き
say
りと
that one little slip up was your undoing.
何の
What are you talking about?
山田の死体
I'm
消
talking
失を
about
聞い
what
た
you
俺
said
たち
after
が
Hifumu's
保
body
健室に戻
disappeared
った
and we
直後
returned
の
to the
話
nurse's
だ
office. So something, let's see. They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're all going to die, just like those guys died. Ooh, guys, plural. That's interesting. That was before they knew that Taka existed
その言
or
葉
was
は我
dead.
も聞いていた
I remember saying that too, but
それの
I
何がお
don't
かしいという
understand what's so
の
strange about it.
いいか
And pay attention.
物理
Sakura,
準備室
Toko,
で
and
石
I
丸
were
の
first
死体を
discovered
発見
Taka's
した
body
の
in the
は
equipment
そ
room.
の後遅
Then
れてきた
Makoto
苗
showed
木
up
か
and
ら
told us
山田
Hifumi
殺害
had
の
been
件を
killed.
聞き
So Sakura
俺
and
と
I
大
left
神
with
は
Makoto.
そして
Once we were in the
廊
hall,
下
we
に出
ran
た
into
ところでセ
Celeste,
レス
and
と
the
会い
four of us are headed
俺たちは
to the
4人
nurse's
で保健
office.
その間
Now, the entire
俺た
time
ち
we
は
were
石丸
together,
の死に
none
つ
of
い
us
ては
said
一
anything about
切
Taka
そう
being
考
dead.
えると
Think about it.
セレスの
Celeste's
あの
comment
発言
doesn't
は
make
極め
sense.
て
It
不
was
自然
completely out of place.
あの発言だ
Yeah,
の
I see what you're talking
不自然
about.
だの
Although I don't really get what it means.
おいセレス
You
み
hear
んな
that,
が困ってる
Celeste?
ぞ
Everyone's having some trouble
みんなのために
understanding.
もう
Could you
一度同じ
repeat what you
発言
said?
お前が
If
犯
you're
人
really
じゃ
not
な
the
いな
culprit,
ら
you shouldn't
できる
have
は
any
ずだぞ
problem repeating it, right? Yakia said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. But what is he alluding to? Okay. So I know it's because she pluralized guys. E-handbook, Monaco file, Celeste account. I think I'm gonna have to pull a flashback.
私の発言は
All
こう
I
でし
said
た
was,
まるで
they
楽
must
しんでい
really
る
be
ようです
enjoying
がね
this.
私たちが怯え
Enjoying the
混
sight of
乱
us
する
standing
のを
around
見て
frightened and confused.
楽しんでい
They
るよう
must be
ですわ
positively elated.
このままだと
We're all going
全
to
員
die
殺さ
here.
れてしまいます彼らのように
We're going to die just like those guys died.
以上でしたが
And that is all I said.
これで分かった
And
だ
that's
ろ
all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it?
セレスの発言
What
の
was so
不自然
strange
な
about
点が
Celeste's comment? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess it's so strange is going to be used to
私の発言まるで楽し
shoot
い
down
私たちが怯え楽しんでいるこのままだと彼らのように以上でした
これで分かっただろセレスの発言の不自然な点が
Byakuya was a biggie in the second version of Danganronpa. I did not know. I've not touched, and this is the first Danganronpa thing I've touched.
私の発言まるで楽しい私たちが怯え混乱する楽しんでいるようこのままだと
彼らのように殺す
There we go.
それは違う
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
しかも俺たち
Exactly.
がセレ
And we
スと会っ
didn't
た
run
の
into
は
her until
廊
after
下
we
に出
were
た
all
後
out in
の
the
こと
hall.
だつまり
So there was never any
そ
chance
いつ
for
に
her to
は
have
物
seen
理
this
準備
body
室
in the
の死体
equipment
を見
room
る
for
機会も
herself.
なかった
それなのに
So how did you know Celeste?
殺されたの
How
は
did
一
you
人
know
じゃない
more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
皆さ
You
ん
all have such
想
vivid
像力が
imaginations.
豊か
You
な
know
ので
that?
す
想像
Imaginations.
先ほど
You claimed that
あ
I
な
was
た方
lying
が
when
お
I
っしゃっ
told
て
you
い
about
ま
the
したわ
suspicious
ね
person I saw.
でしたら
Then what about the picture
こ
I
の
took?
不審者が山田君を連れ去っているこの画像について皆さんはどう説明をつけるおつもりですか
それも
It has to be some kind of setup, right?
セレスッチが
Celeste put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
お忘れです
Have you
か
so quickly forgotten?
あの衣
You're
装
the
は
only one who could have
葉
possibly
隠
fit
れ
into
君
that
にし
suit.
か着られないはずですわよそれに
Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera
タ
does
イマ
not
ー機
have a
能なんて
timer.
つまり
In other words, it is an
不審者が
unassailable
山田
fact.
君を
This
連
is
れ
a
去
picture
っ
of
たという
Hifumi
の
being
は
dragged away.
私の証
If
言が
everything
全
I
て
told you
嘘
was
だ
a
という
lie,
の
how
は
can this picture
この
exist?
そもそもその画像って
Are
本
we
当
sure
に
that's really a picture of the
不審
suspect
者が
dragging
山田君を
Hifumi
ど
away?
ういう意味で
What
す
could you
か
possibly mean by that?
不審者が山
Surely
田
there
君
are
を
other
連れ去った
explanations than the one you've offered up.
他の可能
No,
性なん
there's
て
no other explanation. Other explanations? If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, oh, it was a picture of Hifumi carrying, or just posing for it. The only other possibility is Hifumi is dragging the suspect away. It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
そう考えられ
That's
る
certainly within the realm of possibility.
あの画像で
The
連
one
れ
being
去られ
dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit.
不審それを
We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
あの怪しい衣装も私た
And
ち
the
が勘違い
strange
さ
costume
せる
might
ため
only
のものだ
exist
った
to
ん
lead
じ
us
ゃない
astray even farther.
あんな衣装
If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be
そっちが怪しいと
suspicious.
そうやって
That's what
俺の寝
happened.
てる間
You
に
put me to sleep
俺
and
を
made
容
me
疑
out
者
to
に
be
仕
the
立て上
bad
げた
guy
ん
in
だ
all
な
this. Such a thing.
ないじゃありま
It's
せんか
utterly impossible.
山田君の
Hifumi
方
was
が不
dragging
審
him
者を
away?
連れ去ってい
Ridiculous.
たありえん
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
でしたら
Then shut
お
your
教え
mouth
し
and
ましょ
allow
う
me to
か
educate you. Celeste thinks she's been proved there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Okay. Oh, let's see. Robo Justice, E-Hammer, Spotless Hammer. This was just his blueprints. Okay.
気絶した俺に
You
あの
dressed me
衣
up
装
in
を
that
着
suit
さ
after
せ
I
て
passed out.
山田っちに運ばせたんだな
Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry
そう
my
やっ
weight.
て俺を
You tried
容
to
疑
make
者
me
に
look
仕
like
立
the
て上
bad
げたんだ
guy.
な
ですから
Like I said,
それはありえないの
ridiculous.
ですこの画像では
As you can see in the picture, the
不審者
suspect
の
is
背筋
standing
が伸びてい
perfectly
ます
upright. Oh, it's because it can't
中にい
bend.
るのが気絶した人
If the
間
person
なら
inside the suit was unconscious,
そんな姿勢を取れるわ
there's
け
no
があ
way
り
they could
ま
stand up
せん
straight like that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna wait for the whole thing to pop because that was obvious. Celeste, that was a dumb mistake even from her, by her. She's smarter than that.
背筋を伸ばした
No,
姿勢に
even
な
if
れ
the
たは
person
ず
was
だよ
still inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like
あの
that.
ジャスティスロボの
Because
衣
that
装にあ
Robo
った
Justice suit
あ
had a
る
certain
特徴のおかげで
characteristic.
ね
Because they already used the fact that it can't bend earlier as a different clue. You totally can't bend at the waist. It seems like a pretty obvious oversight. That's right. They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
そもそも
I'm not so sure that was a
本当
mistake.
最初から
I
こ
think
の
the
画像
suit
を
was
でっ
designed
ち上
from
げ
the
た
beginning to be used the way it
決
was.
セレスさん
Celeste
た
and
ち
Hifumi took the suit they
そんな特徴がある
specially
んで
designed
すよ
and stuffed Hito
気
into
絶
it.
しあの画像をでっ
That's
ち
how
上
they were
げた
able
んだ
to fake the whole thing.
あの不審者
The
の
point
存
of it
在
all
を
was to make us believe
僕たち
whoever
に
was
信
in
じ込
the
ませる
suit
ため
was
にね
blamed.
どうや
Well
ら
then, I suppose this is checkmate. Checkmate?
ふざけてんじゃ
Don't
ねえ
make me
ぞ
laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
何が
Ooh.
チェックメイトだ
I love the fact that this is finally making her break her mask. Because, you know, her whole thing is she's a gambler. She's good at having her poker face. The fact that she's finally showing, like, real emotion is great.
どうしても
Clearly, you want me to cram me into your little
私を犯人に仕立て上
guilty
げたいら
box.
しい
Well,
が
there's one little
お
problem.
忘れ
Have
で
you already
す
forgotten
か
what Hifumi told us
山
as
田
he
君
lay
がし
dying? Hey, Hifumi, who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right, I remember their name. Yasuhiro.
犯人
When
の
we
名
asked him
前を
who
聞かれ
attacked
た
him,
山
his
田
answer
君
was
は
quite clear, was it not?
犯人
He
は
said, and I quote,
安弘だ
Yasuhiro.
つまり
In other words,
Hagakure,
Yasuhiro
Yasuhiro
Hakagure! Hagakure, not Hakagure, Hagakure. Wait, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro.
安弘
It's
なんて名
actually
前じゃねえ
Taro.
って
そうい
Your
うわけ
confusing
のわか
statements
ら
don't
ぬ
make
嘘
any
をつく
sense.
から
You're only making things more
だ
complicated.
けど山田君が
He
言っ
did
た
say
安弘
Yasuhiro, but are we sure he's really pointing
本
the
当に
finger
は
at
がくれ
Hiro?
かも
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive.
フリギルさん
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
思い出してね
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How do you refer
私
to
たちのことを
each
ど
of
んな
us?
風に呼んでいたかしら
He said people's last names. I didn't notice that, but
そうだ
that's the only.
フルネームだ
That's right, our last names. He called us all by our last
例え
names.
ば
Exactly.
苗木
I know
誠
I
殿
heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for
だか
example.
ら
So
山
if
田君が葉
Hifumi
隠れ
did
と
mean
名
to
指
say
しする
Hiro's
つもり
name,
な
he would
ら
have said his last name,
葉隠れ安弘
Hagakure.
と
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, he just his
その
first
時
name.
たまたま
Indecent. Don't talk.
たった一回の偶
Random
然がそ
chance.
の
Now,
時
isn't that a convenient explanation?
ありえないわ
No, there's no reason you
山
would
田君
think
はいつものよ
he
う
would
に
have said the
フル
same
ネーム
any different than the
犯
name
人
any
の名
different
前
than
を言おう
normal.
だけど
But he must have
そ
run
の
out of
途中
energy
で
before
力
he
尽
could say
きてし
any
ま
more.
う
そう
So
山田
Hifumi
君
was
が
trying to
示
tell
そう
us
とし
the
たのは
last name of whoever killed him. But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here. Well, no, hold on. There's one person it could
今まで
apply
本名
to,
を明かしてい
and
ない
that's Celeste. She never actually
Celeste.
told us what her real name is. What did you just say?
言いがかりもそこまで来ると
Take your,
笑えま
think you
す
take your
わね
false accusations so far. I don't know whether to laugh or spit. Come on,
適当な
enough
こと言
with
わ
your
ないでく
idiotic
ださる
blather. Yasuhiro is a
私が
loser's
安
name.
弘
Do
な
I
んて
look
男
like a
性名
loser
字
to
の
you?
わけ
Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
だったら教えてよ
Okay then, fill us in.
Celesteの本名
What's your real name? Fine. Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up. My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again? Celeste still won't give up, so then I have to do something to make her receptive. Oh, that's where the handbooks are gonna come in. Hello. Good to see you, Afi. I think I pronounced that right. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's got to be the handbook. It has to be the handbook. That's the only reason Kyoko could have said, yeah, no, I don't think it's relevant, but that was okay. What's trying to tell us? No, the killer's last name Yasuhiro. If there's one person here who might have that last name, would have to be Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is. How many times do I have to tell you? My name is...
Celestia Ludenberg
Celestia Ludenberg, goddammit. How long do you have to go and pretend? I'm not pretending, it's the truth. So you have no way to contradict me. Yeah, I know exactly what that is. So she was half German, half Japanese. Wouldn't that make sense? Potentially. I mean, to be fair, we don't actually know what she said. I mean, she introduced herself as Celestia Ludenberg. I don't know. I didn't see any Russian when I was watching. Maybe a different localization does. I don't know. But also, if she says she's half German, half Japanese, she could just be lying. We don't know. That's it, the handbook. Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before. The handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. Oh, we got another person in the chat. This is like actually the third time, like that I've had somebody like with the actual username from the of one of the characters from the game show up in the chat. There was the somebody with Taka's name in the Twitch chat. I think it was Tuesday, and today I've had two people, or maybe it's the same person twice. That's absolutely within the realm of possibility. But that's interesting. Maybe I'm not too familiar with the Danganronpa community, so maybe there's stuff I don't. Maybe this is like normal for that space. When you start it up, it'll display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that. So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name. That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate. Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please just tell us. Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because. I mean, that's kind of the point of Monokuma's design. He's supposed to be adorable, and that he has this kind of whimsical, playful attitude that is meant to juxtapose with the horror elements of the game. I mean, until the game's over, you never know what might happen. Fine then, let me settle it. Let me go over the case again from the beginning and shed light on all your crimes. So it's going to be a closing argument, and that'll bring everything to an end. So now I actually know it's going to give me hints if I click on the things. Let's see. So, 12 minutes now. Okay, so Ifumi and the killer. In this case, how did the killer recruit their accomplice? Was it let's see, was it seduction? No, it's gonna be... Let's see here. I think it's gotta be that. I don't know. Nothing else seems to really fit. That's him pushing the body. I don't know. Let's just go for the next ones. We'll figure it out. What time did the killer call their victim to the rec room? Yeah, that was 1 a.m. What was it? Who was it the killer summoned first? Yeah, that was Yasuhiro. Or Hiro, yeah. Okay, then they put him in the robo suit. And knock him out the stuff in the robo justice suit to falsify the evidence. Use a certain item to do it, so that's got to be the camera. Where is it? Oh, there's the... I really like this drawing right here. And there's Taka, and then... I fucking love that. Okay, what time was Taka supposed to head to the equipment room? So that's gotta be 6 in the morning. No, that's... You know what, yeah, that is. The perspective was fucking... Okay, next. Justice Hammer, okay. Ha ha ha. Justice Hammer that was used to kill Taka, that was a Justice Hammer 4. Where is Justice Hammer 4? There we go. That, then go in there. In the library, he for me used something to fake the existence of a shadowy criminal. Let's see. Oh, that's gotta be Justice Hammer. Probably Justice Hammer 2. Unless there's something else. The Justice Hammer was in the nurse's office when he was red. That was Justice Hammer 3. Okay, that's 6. That's got the thing. That's gotta be him pushing the body, right? Give me something to move Taka's body. Yeah, that was using the dolly to move it. So he's going there, and then whap. Weapon used to kill her. See for me, it was the regular. Weapon used to kill used to murder for me. What was it? Had to have been that. Okay, I think I got it all. The first one, I'm still not 100%. For anything, it still persuades him to help that person was Hifumi. Okay. I got it right. So I think I got it all right. Hifumi, with an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect, so when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him in the Robo Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So next, they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For those attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. Then the killers wanted to test to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we want these surprise attack stories. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and then injured Hifumi to sell us that story. Those 2 incidents, the killers were able to create certain preconceptions in our minds. Then the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in the order as they did. We fell right into the trap and started looking for the suspect based on that, but... While we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. That is such an amazing picture at the bottom there. These comic sections are really... Again, there's clearly a lot of heart and style put into this game, and I absolutely love it. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. Average magical girl. That is true. That is... given that it's Hifumi, even though his whole thing was doujins and not necessarily all, like, otaku stuff, he kind of fits the bill. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply... Oh, I love how they gave him shark teeth. That's great. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office. And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck up to the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. And he has the cat ears, that's great. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case, and the real villain behind it all is... Celeste. Sorry, you lose. And I love this whole segment. It's like, I get that they wanted to just have it so we had the closing argument section, but that recounting did absolutely nothing to prove it was Celeste. But it's okay. Rule of cool applies. I lost? I lost. When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck. Then you admit it. You're the killer? Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. Hi, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Kayako Yasuhiro is fine. Kayako. So, you finally accepted it. I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on. Interesting. So I'm curious to see what her punishment is gonna be. Okay. Still an A. Definitely my worst performance yet in a trial, but, you know, still a pretty good performance. I'll take it. Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it? It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote, okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Okay, I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy this. Oh, it's interesting how the dead people are still part of the slot machine. It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The blackened this time, the true killer who devised this whole stinking scheme was... Celestia Ludenberg, or more precisely, Kayako Yasuhiro! I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Hifumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations. So you really did approach Hifumi with this plan. But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have happily agreed to commit murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty, lying. My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree. Then did you use, you know, alter ego, I bet. I knew you'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right. To get Hifumi to act as my accomplice, I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name, but it was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. Does she mean... Is she talking about alter ego? What? What are you talking about? Also, they did mention alter ego during the trial, so... Not really any point hiding it. Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here. I'm totally out of the loop as usual. How sad.
つま
Then you're the one that stole it.
りえ
That's right.
えなるほど
And you used it to drag Hifumi into the plan you'd come up with. Right again. Last night, after we had our meeting about how it disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit. Oh, what are you doing here?
実
I
は
was hoping I could talk to you. Alone. It's about what was stolen. I know who did it. What?
よろしいで
It
す
was
か
Taka. He stole it. What?
それで
And I
は
have proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. I deleted the picture as soon as I'd shown it to Hifumi, of course. So it was him. But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You are correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it. What?
私
Please forgive me. He threatened me. He did?
私
He came to my room last night unannounced, and then it's hard for me to even say. He abused me. What? And he took pictures. He said if I did not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice. That's a crime, an absolute crime. I know he'd gone a little crazy, but I never imagined he would go that far. It was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was. I'm about to say something I've never said before in my life. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to fucking kill him.
そんな
Wait, please. If you go now, you'll be playing right into his hands.
実は
Taka is planning to use her to escape. And he made you his target. Escape? You don't mean... Taka is going to try to kill you. What?
ええ
And also he can keep her to himself. That bastard. Bastard, 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 bastard!
まったく
Can we allow him to continue with these barbaric acts? Absolutely not. How could I? I have to save her.
実は
Then, would you like to join with me? It just so happens I have come up with a plan. Huh? I've devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful school. And with that, it is complete. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Hifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love, even a love as twisted as that, can still drive people mad, it would seem.
What?
You disgust me.
なるほど
I have
な
another question for you. Was that strange costume Hifumi's creation?
ええ
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that, but it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
けどよ
So why'd you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid. That's it?
ええ
And in that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I could cry.
だが
But when you were explaining your plan to Hifumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? What she's asking is, what was Hifumi supposed to do after that, assuming you had actually let him live?
よろしいですか
That's simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, once someone showed up, I told him to say he'd been seriously wounded. He was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. And he really believed that? Well, of course. That wasn't all there was to it. As I explained it to Hifumi, the plan was... While you were all questioning him about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have an alibi, so no one could doubt him. I told him that, and he believed it. It all seems very straightforward. Stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed that lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death.
やはり
So you had planned to kill him all along. But of course, there would have been no point to my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
なんなの
How could human life mean so little to you?
な
That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
ひでえぞ
Now you sound like Byakuya.
それ
No,
はどうで
he
しょう
derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
どうして
Then, what made you take things this far?
なんなの
Was it really just for money?
うん
Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money, it's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life here began, my only thought has been escape. But all along you've been saying how we have to accept living here. Obviously that was a lie. I couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone else in here. I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And you want to know why? Huh? Because I had a dream. And accepting a life here would have meant nothing less than giving up on my dream forever. And there was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I've risked my life to make a metaphorical killing. And it was all for that dream. And what was this dream of yours? To live in a European castle. A castle? That checks out, actually. And to gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butlers/bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic world of decadence. Living the rest of my life, there was my only dream, my only goal. That's what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge, but unfortunately, my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream to the very end, so why would I? You sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it? Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel nothing. That's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding. That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why you're not scared? That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then I think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette. You just get executed again. Celeste smiled then, and when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings, but that statement itself must have been her final lie. And that weak, fake smile is what betrayed her. You all done? Okay then, let's get rolling. The blackened disturbed the peace and must pay the price. Now then, I prepared a very special punishment for her, the ultimate gambler. Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time! I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. This is... Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way, which is why. Actually, it's not important. Well then, take care everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again in another life. Alright, now I'm definitely curious. This is actually the first female killer, too. Ooh, really like that Celeste's red eyes in this art style is it's great. Oh, and they're putting her in the castle. Okay. The burning of the Versailles witch. Oh, and they're making it like okay, that's cool. Yeah, I love how they textured it to make it actually look like, you know, the paper cutouts. And the music being so quiet, that's a stark contrast to the first two punishments. Oh, okay. Now, okay. I like, it couldn't be that simple, can it? It's just gonna fucking run her over with okay. Yeah, why not? Okay. Okay, that was definitely the most eclectic one. Honestly, I really actually liked the artistic stuff going into this particular punishment. It was definitely it was interesting. It's over. The third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friends, so I can't pity her, but I also can't deny that at one point I considered her a friend too. And for him just to come along to just come along and isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't cut free of their regrets from the outside world, and so more people had to die. You guys are still young. You need to place more value on your lives. Jeez. And here I thought you guys were going to pass the torch of hope to the next generation. What do I care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here. You're all the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. And it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad, yes it is, but that reality just can't be avoided. Don't talk like you're not responsible. How long are you gonna make us keep going through this? What do you want from us? God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyway, Kyoko, did I see you get some kind of key-type object from Celeste? So, what's the deal with that? What's the matter? Celeste wanted to be unique, and being burned alive is a rare death, but being run over is a very common death, which wouldn't be unique. Yeah, that's a good point. That is definitely a legitimate interpretation. I'm not 100% sure I agree with everything about it, but I get the idea. What did you do? What did you do to me? What? No, answer me. What did you do to my body? Oh man, oh jeez, oh man, oh jeez. What do you mean, what did I do? I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body. What does that mean? Okay, things are getting kind of awkward. I think it's about time I got out of here. Meanwhile, you guys can go on enjoying your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything about it, of course. See ya! Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Although it wasn't all despair, there was one small hope. Hey, Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but what's that key that Celeste gave you? Most likely, it's the key to one of the dressing room lockers. What? Then that means Celeste probably hid it in there.
Oi.
I suppose sometimes it's easiest to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well then, we'd better go check. Good idea. We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. As we approached the dressing room, Kyoko looked back at us and said, Kyoko, I'm going to go on alone from here. Everyone else head to the dining hall. I'll check in with you later. Why exactly are you going in alone? Do you even have to ask? As she spoke, she glanced quickly at the surveillance camera. That's not what I mean. Why you? There's still the risk of a spy, you know. Then I'll go too. You? Please, let me go. Standing here arguing is just going to draw more attention to us. Do what you want. Do whatever you want. Thank you, Byakuya. Then it's up to you now. Ooh. I'm going to go to the dining hall, okay? Huh? So Makoto and Kyoko are going to go together. Does that mean what I think it means? Good luck, Makoto. Girls like her are total pushovers when you show a little backbone. I tried to forget what Hina said. Everyone headed to the dining hall, leaving me and Kyoko there alone. Well, shall we? Yeah. We need to get into that locker. Kyoko took the key Celeste had given her and unlocked the locker. As the locker swung open, we saw... Good morning. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's safe. Thank goodness. I'd never heard Kyoko sound so relieved. It was like she was speaking from the bottom of her heart. I did just what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. I stayed quiet the entire time. Oh, and I think I might be able to open the last set of files soon. Maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please wait just a while longer. So now we can officially say the case is closed. As far as this incident is concerned, sure, but... can we take a second? Since we have the opportunity, I want you to be honest with me. Kyoko, please tell me, what are you trying to do all on your own here at the school?
あなたは
Is that why you wanted to come here with me?
だけど
Regardless, that's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know? That just makes me even more worried. Huh? Worried? Like what happened during the investigation this time. You disappeared and we didn't see you again. Without warning, without explanation, when you do that, it's only natural they think I'm the mastermind spy. And you too. No. I believe in you.
Huh?
You believe in me? Isn't it obvious? People believe in their friends, right? That's why I want you to tell me. And I want you to believe in me too. Because we're friends. I understand.
そう
Then maybe I can believe in you. Just a little bit more. Then,
いいわ
fine. I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I've been disappearing and where I've been going. You see... Oh, they're leaving it on a fucking cliffhanger? Okay. What I heard from Kyoko then was, well, frankly, it kinda blew my mind. Right after I told Kyoko I believe in her, she told me a story that was, well, almost unbelievable. I decided I had to confirm what she told me with my own 2 eyes, so I waited for nighttime to come. And when it did, I went into action. Okay, so I guess they're not gonna cliffhanger us. Okay, good. I would have been pissed. I mean, not that it's like, you know, I'm gonna keep playing the game, just not tonight. Once the chapter ends, of course, is when it's gonna stop.
そう
The boys' bathroom on the 2nd floor doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor in it. And in the storage closet there, way in the back. She said it was way in the back of the boys' bathroom storage closet, but could Kyoko really be right about this? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it's true, it doesn't have a... I didn't notice that before. It's just a normal storage closet as far as I can tell. The secret Kyoko told me about, could it really be hidden there? She said it was way in the back of the storage closet, but I mean, seriously? Without thinking, I placed my hand on the back of the storage closet, and suddenly, as if I were being yanked in... Ooh, gashunk. At the same time as I heard that sound, I fell through the wall. I had no idea what was going on. But bump! I had fallen through the back of a storage closet. Huh? It turned out, the back wall was like a revolving door, and I'd made my way to the other side. Just like Kyoko had said.
そう
In the boys' bathroom on the 2nd floor, there's a storage closet, and way in the back of that closet, there's a secret room. So this is the secret room. But what's in here? Okay. There's a bunch of files and what look like volume after volume of yearbooks. They're all covered in dust. Looking at everything, one file at the edge of the bookshelf caught my eye. Hope Speak Academy Student Registry. This is the only thing here not covered in dust. Has someone been looking at it recently? I slipped the file into my hand, but before I had a chance to take a look at it, a slip of paper fell out of the file and I turned my attention to it. What? You must not leave. What's this? You must not leave. That's kinda weird. I could understand if it said, like, I can't leave, but you must not leave? What is this? My head feels funny. This strange sensation. It's like deja vu. Those words, you must not leave. I've seen them somewhere before, but I can't quite remember. What do I know? What don't I know? What? Ooh. Okay. I didn't expect a fucking luchador to pop out. A strange sound rang out through my head. It felt like I was shaking my brain back and forth. And then, darkness. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what started it. It's all over. And with that, I opened my eyes. I didn't know how long it had been. Ugh. Ow. Apparently something hit me and I lost consciousness. That's all I understood. The dull, throbbing pain in my head proved that much at least. Well, now it's gone. Okay. An empty bookshelf. Huh? Empty? Gone. It's all gone. The yearbooks, the student registry, and even the note that had fallen on the floor. It's all gone? What does this mean? But my brain refused to do any more work. The insistent pain in my head began to spread across the rest of my body. For now, I should go back to my room, get some rest. My body was heavy with pain, my mind heavy with thought. I dragged myself back toward my room. Somehow, I made it back to the first floor of the school. The farther I walked, the more I felt things were getting blurry. Can't see in front of me. I couldn't stop myself from collapsing right there. And after that, as if from a vast distance, I heard a sound. It was faint, but undeniable. Oh, is that the noises that Hiro said he heard back in Chapter 2? That sound, it's coming from the gym? As I desperately hauled my shaky frame toward the gym, the sound got stronger and stronger. What's going on? It can't be nothing. Here? In the gym? I didn't make a sound as I opened the door to the gym. The sounds coming from inside, meanwhile, only intensified that much more. Ka-cha! Ba-cue! Noises. Huh. Before me there raged a battle beyond anything humanly possible. No, one side's not human, that's for sure, but regardless, I couldn't stop staring. Okay, things are getting interesting. I forgot to move, or even breathe. Why, what do you think you're doing? I ask you a question. What's the meaning of this? How dare you defy me? This wasn't part of the deal. The deal? I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you. Okay, but you do realize what will happen if you go through with this, right? You haven't forgotten, have you? What I'm holding hostage? What am I looking at? What am I hearing? A hostage? Then could it be? The mastermind spy is a next generation legend. Stand tall, galactic hero. The end. Yeah, it's not much left. Okay, only 7 left. That's out of the original 15, so less than half. To be continued. Is the Super Robo Justice present? Okay. And there's the Chapter 3 achievement. Okay, so that's going to be all for today. Can't really go much longer just because, again, as I always bring up, I live in an apartment and the soundproofing is not good here. So I don't want to be making noise too late into the evening. But next stream will be on Sunday. In the morning at 10 a.m. is when we're going to just farm content for the tri-weekly uploads I do on the channel. And then after that, I'm going to do it earlier than last week. But at some point, probably around like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock Eastern. That's when I'll do the next Danganronpa, and we'll go the entire Chapter 4. So that's going to be how that works. Although I will also mention that the week after that, that's Easter Sunday, I'm not going to be streaming then. I'll move that stream to either Friday or Saturday because I have off work on Friday and I'm off anyway on Saturday. So one of those days will be the replacement stream. I haven't made a decision yet, but yeah. So for those who have stopped by, I do appreciate you. It's fun as always. And I'll hopefully see you again on Sunday. If not, Tuesday and Thursday again, 7 p.m. That's going to stay the same. And yeah,